In the previous episode, I made the 2,000-mile passage from Cocos Island to Rodrigues. Here I sail from Rodrigues to the Cargados Carajos Shoals before continuing to Mauritius.
Now it's Thursday the 17th of October. I've left Rodrigues. My plan, was to sail northwest to a reef system called Cargados Carajos Shoals and spend a day or two there on the weekend. And to do that, we have to cross these major shipping lanes from Southern Africa to the Malacca Straits. And here's the third boat we've encountered. This is called Madison Maersk container ship. It's doing 18 knots. It's pretty gentle seas, so it makes sense. Anyway, we have a lovely day. Blue sky, occasional clouds. The wind's light, so I don't have the full main up because otherwise it bangs too much. I should zoom out here. You see all the patchwork on it. But the bad news is twofold. Firstly, my engine has developed a severe oil leak, dumped all of its oil, so I am engineless from here on out. And second, the forecast suggests quite a strong low up north this weekend, with very strong winds around it. And although the low is supposed to go straight west, it's going to make for very rough conditions. So I may turn and skedaddle down to Mauritius.
Here are a series of AIS screens throughout the day and night, showing the endless ship traffic in the southwest to northeast route. And our track shows that I did decide to bail towards Mauritius for half a day, thereby encountering ship traffic head-on, but then changed my mind again and persisted to the shoals. This is the reef that the Volvo ocean raceboat Vestas ran up on in the night in 2014, leading the staff of the Navily app that I use for anchorages and marinas to place a cheeky anchorage on the reef where they wrecked, with the following comment about it.
Well, Saturday the 19th of October, finally approaching Cargados Carajos Shoals. This is the southern bottom corner. Hopefully you can see some big swells coming in and crashing on the reef. We're going to go around it and try to sail up to that bunch of trees there. It looks like there's even a building. And there's two fishing boats here at least. And unfortunately I have no engine because of a bad oil leak. So we're going to have to sail in and anchor off the sail. First time. Alright, this should be interesting. And we made it. Under sail. Anchor is down in about 12 feet and we're in about 15. And we've got this lovely sandy island protecting us from the swell in the reef. But we still have strong wind and a little bit of chop coming through, but that's fine.
This island is called Coco Island, and the sandbar extends miles in each direction, periodically high enough for vegetation to grow. And despite the strong conditions, I was determined to get to shore and explore. There was significant swell coming in from the southwest, so I did not want to take the dinghy. Instead, I paddled my surfskin into shore. My chart showing us anchored in the bottom half of this massive reef and shoal system, which appeared accessible under sail as well as clear sand to anchor with no coral, confirmed by satellite views. On shore, the rippled sand beach on the ocean side was quite pretty, and as I walked along, I herded hundreds of ghost crabs that dove into holes or swam off into the water.
There he goes. Go join his mates down by the water.
This island was dominated by these noddies, which are variously called brown, black, or common, and pretty much only nest in bushes and trees. But there are also lots of white noddies, although I prefer their older name of fairy terns.
Here's one I'm fairly certain is sitting on an egg. They stick them to a branch. And yeah, I think you're sitting on an egg, aren't you? That's why you won't move. Good for you. I won't disturb you. Yeah, on the leeward side of the island, just covered with turtle tracks, like this one. This one's a little bit old. Probably went up over there or up over here. There's presumably a nest here, out there. But here's a very new one. Might be just a night or two old. And I'm surprised that the hole has not been filled anymore. Let's see where it either arrived or left. Oh man, this one went all over the place. Here's more of its tracks. And it just goes on and on. There's tracks all the way along here. Lots and lots of turtles nesting on this beach. This is Ghost Crab Beach. All the way along, they dug their holes, piling up sand. Let's see one here at its entrance. There's quite something all the way along there, scurrying around.
There was a lot of flotsam and jetsam on these sandbars, including this massive mooring, one of the solar-charged satellite transmitting sonar fish finders, and 2 parts of a wrecked fiberglass boat.
Sunday the 20th of October. Sadly, I'm already on my way back from Cargados Carajos Shoals. Only had an afternoon there because it was so crazy rough in the anchorage. Actually tore up my anchor bridle. Plus the forecast was for strong winds with the low northeast of us. It would get really strong on Tuesday. So I said, what the heck, I'm not going to spend a quiet, pleasant night here, which it wouldn't be anyway in that anchorage. I'll just bail and sail over. And yeah, it's a rough night last night, lots of squalls, a couple of ships. But by 10 o'clock this morning, look what we got. Absolutely gorgeous. Couldn't be better. Trade wind sailing.
We're beam reaching with the 4th reef in the main holding on, despite my concern that a tear there would rip the sail in half, and the full jib, heading southwest towards Mauritius. Here is the beaten up anchor bridle. In retrospect, the line I used to secure the thimble was too weak and I have rebuilt it. I took no more video on our beam reach to Mauritius, but along the way discovered that one of the welds holding the aft end of the pushpit to the cap rail had broken and another was cracked, so secured them with lines. Approaching Mauritius, we met up with Serenada and agreed to take pictures and video of each other. So I got some video of them upwind of us and later downwind of us.
Serenada now with sunlight on their sails. He's a little cautious, so he's staying pretty far away. This is as much as I can zoom in. I hope they got some nice pictures of me too.
And here are their pictures and video of us. Thanks guys. Somewhat under canvassed, but still moving well, as we were headed into nearby Grand Baie to anchor under sail, while they were continuing to the official check-in at Port Louis.
This rock on the left here is called Pigeon Rock, and this island is called Flat Island. Most of the eastern side of it is a low flat island, but even the top is flat, and there's a lighthouse on the top of it. And the next one is called Gunner's Queen, which is kind of weird, and then you can see Mauritius looming behind. This Pigeon's Rock is clearly a volcanic core, very reminiscent of Devil's Tower in North Dakota. Yeah, so this island's called Gunner's Queen, Q-U-I-O-N. Gonna have to look that word up. approaching Grand Baie here in Mauritius, there's a whole string of party catamarans. This is a small one. The others are absolutely huge, and there's a bunch more. I think altogether there's about 8 of them. Must be going to a beach somewhere. Number 6 going by. These are party boats 7 and 8. Man, there must be a nice beach out there and play loud music, and these guys even don't bother with their mainsail. Just put the motor on, put a jib up. It's Ralph and his brother on Z. They're going to lead me in to Grand Baie. Here's Z coming by, looking fantastic. Going to lead me into Grand Baie here. Really nice. Thank you, Ralph and his brother. Now I'm following Ralph in here. He's slowed down a little bit for me. Now he's going to get the jib back in, the Yankee as he calls it, which I guess is the same as what I've got, 100% jib. He's winding it in there, his brother. He's got the tiller. And sweet, in we come.
I really did not want to end up like this sailboat on the shore.
Yeah, with Ralph's help, I made it into Mauritius, into Grand Baie. And right in front of me here is Pascali, Peter on board, and now his wife as well, Sally.
Grand Baie is at the northern tip of Mauritius, a wide open bay, nevertheless requiring careful course to avoid coral, and I anchored at the back of the anchorage. Grand Baie is not an official check-in port, so I declared force majeure, as without a functioning engine it would be impossible to get into Port Louis. So the officials came to me on police boats, all very polite and accommodating.
Here comes Z with Ralph and his brother on it. They've been out for a day sail after they helped guide me in here. Woohoo! Looking good! Yeah, I found out what the engine problem is. Okay, drop by with the dinghy, I'll show you.
Okay. Then it was time to air out the boat and to begin repairs. The oil leak turned out to be from an external oil line that had corroded due to a saltwater leak I had struggled to locate and fix previously. And after an expensive visit from 2 young mechanics who said it would take a week to fix it, I instead sealed it up with JB Weld metal epoxy. The broken and cracked welds on the pushput required welding, so I then motored into the yacht club jetty for a crew to do the work, yielding these results that have lasted well. I removed the heavy outboard motors and the stern anchor that previously lived on the pushput, shown here, to relieve the stress on it, in particular in anticipation of a rough passage to South Africa. Squalls were a daily feature of the mornings, yielding regular rainbows, here over the Grand Baie Yacht Club, and later over the anchorage. I rented a car, and Bill and I drove down the west coast to the southwest tip at Lemoorn for some wonderful kite surfing at the famous reef here.
So this is the public beach at Lemoorn. You see lots of people with kites, for lots of wingers, and this is the windsurfing and now I guess winging center as well. And back in 2004 on a family trip here, I windsurfed, rented a board from these guys, but the tide was pretty low and I kept hitting the coral. So I quit, and there was a guy kite surfing, and Christina, my wife, very kindly said, go get a lesson. So I had a kite surfing lesson, not here, this is the main place, round on the other side where beginners go. And here I am 20 years later. It's the 20th anniversary of learning to kite surf. And today I didn't go to One Eye. One Eye is that break over there, and that's seriously scary, right on the reef. Instead I went way over there, called Manava, and it was great. You've got a nice big solid wave, brakes nice and easy, and you run out into the channel, the deep channel, when you're finished with the wave. Ah, it's wonderful. And as forecast, the wind has died. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're going to go for a hike instead. There's a monster resort along here where we spent a night. This is further along from the place before, the main place. This is the beginner area, but anybody can launch here. And it's really pretty picturesque. I mean, it's got this is the mountain that must have been the core of a volcano. Anyway, this is where I had my very first and only kite surf lesson. Got up on the board. Very cool.
Bill and I went for a short walk in the Black River Gorges National Park nearby, finding some macaque monkeys.
Yeah, we got a bunch of monkeys here, little grey guys, a little bit of white and black on the face, but not much. They don't look like vervets, but I don't know what they are. I'll have to check it out.
Quite a big park, actually.
Back at Grand Baie, an expert kite racer on a foil board with a foil kite was riding around the boats.
Hotshot kiteful racer going by me here. He is super good. Wow. Wow. Check this guy out. His transitions are just beautiful. Look at that. He changes his feet, leans back, rips the kite around. Wow. That is world-class kiting. Whee! It's really good. Well, it's Saturday the 26th, and we've had rain all day, but it's clearing now, at least on one side. The other side's still grey. That's the yacht club there. Very friendly, very nice facilities. And then a whole bunch of boats moored. Here is Z, Ralph's boat. And the beach is way behind there. You see the houses in the background. All sorts of boats moored here and anchored. Now, very nice place, Grand Baie. I like it. I'm going to be here a whole week, so I better.
As usual, the sunsets and sunrises were beautiful, but my focus was on preparing for the passage to South Africa. First, by enhancing my warp setup with lines found on Cocos and the shoals, stored on the cockpit floor below the Jordan Series drogue on the port side, both with bridles set up and ready to go. I also swapped out my staysail for a smaller one that is the closest I have to a storm sail. A final provisioning trip, plus a few goodies from this bakery, and I was ready to go. But first I had to sail around to Port Louis to check out.
It's Monday the 28th of October. I've been in Mauritius for a week. Everything's sorted, boat's ready to go. I'm coming over here to Port Louis, which is pretty busy. Ships going in and out. You see some smoke coming from a factory there. And it's a beautiful day. All the lovely peaks here. There's some nice hikes up them, but pretty steep up and down, and my knees are not up for that. But we have just come from Grand Baie, way back there. Left at 6 a.m. It's 8 now. I'll be in here at 9 and probably be done with checkout by, I don't know, noon or so. Interesting ships here. This one looks like it's carrying petroleum and other diesels and such like. This one that just left, the blue one, I have no idea. It looks like a little cargo ship. There's one in the background there that's really weird. Blue with a white top, maybe also gas, propane. And this bulk carrier, I don't understand at all. Totally empty. So it must be picking something up. And I went online, the only thing that they mention is sugarcane. Imagine filling that thing with sugarcane. Anyway, there's a container ship on the outside waiting to come in. There's a container ship being turned around right now. So we're going to have to talk to port control and figure out how I get in. Well, it turns out I have to wait for a little while because this big boy gets precedence. Very well stacked container boat here, ship. Something Hamburg. That's the name on the bow, and you can see the tug going in to pick him up, get a line on him. And there's another tug racing across here to join the fun. And I'm just trying to stay out of the way. Back here are the container docks. I presume they're going to take him there. Finally entering Port Louis Harbour. There's the container dock over there with the big cranes. Christina's brother Greg delivered the big blue ones from Korea, from South Korea. Wow, look at this humongous fishing net being picked up by a crane here. Monster. Some sort of construction going on. Looks like an ocean-going tug here. And then on the other side, come back to Port Louis in a minute. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Chinese squid fishing boats. All identical. And then this looks like a bulk terminal for something. Not sure what they export from here in bulk. And just a general cargo boat here with a bunch of old-fashioned cranes. And another one using its own cranes to unload. And that's the town, that's the city of Port Louis ahead. Mountains behind are pretty impressive. I'm in Port Louis, and these are all the big world arc boats that have this little tiny marina here clogged up, and will leave tomorrow to clog up the marina at Réunion for a week. And that's why I'm not going to Réunion, and that's why I'm in here today, to leave, get ahead of these guys and get out of their way. Anyway, we're coming in here. Some quite nice, I guess this is a hotel, some old buildings too. We're going to go up here in front, and that's our dock, that miserable big concrete dock. Since I don't have reverse, I'm going to have to find somebody to grab my lines.
At the high concrete dock was this Dreadnought 32 called Draak, and I met Nick, the young Canadian solar sailor on board, who I was to meet up with again in South Africa. The Dreadnought was designed by Bill Creelock, a prolific designer who also designed the more famous West Sail 32, as well as my Pacific Seacraft 34 and its bigger brother, the 37. A good design heritage for all of us. In the next episode, I make a 14-day passage to Richards Bay in South Africa, skipping Réunion and skirting the south end of Madagascar.